Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing okay. This is a very strange vlog for me, a strange update video. For starters, I'm not in a car, and you probably know the reasons behind that. I really just wanted to do this video to check in on all of you guys, see how you're all going, maybe offer some advice in terms of trying to keep yourself active and entertained through these very strange times. It almost feels like a horror movie in many senses, but it's really weird here in the UK at least because we're getting wonderful weather, the birds are singing, but when you turn the news on and you see the reality of what's happening, it is very scary times now, basically around the whole world. So I really hope that everyone is doing okay, and I'm sending love to all of you and your family and friends. We're basically on lockdown at the moment in the UK, so that means I can only go out in my car when I need to get essentials like any shopping, food, that sort of thing, or if I was going to work. But as you probably guessed, my chauffeuring business, which is my main source of income, is completely dead. It has been all year, as some of you sort of long-term channel viewers will know. That's why I've been very active on YouTube, because my chauffeuring business has been very quiet this year anyway. Obviously, with COVID-19, the last day I actually worked was middle to end of February, so well over a month ago. But I'm thankful that I've got YouTube and that's going really well. And in fact, most of my income now is through YouTube ad revenue, which is fantastic for me. And I know that there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there worse off with, being laid off, especially self-employed people at the moment. So, yeah, I feel for everyone, and it's just tough times. I think, there's lots of worse and better cases out there, but we're all going through the same thing together. So, I just really hope that everything pans out all right for all of us. It's going to be tough no matter what. We're all going to be, out of pocket. We're all going to be potentially, I guess, a bit stressed through these next coming weeks or months. But yeah, I'm going to try and continue to make some content. It's not going to be the most exciting content in the world, and it will probably be mostly based in this garden. But yeah, let's see what we can do. I'm clearly no expert whatsoever in terms of advising people, but what I can say is really try and do your best to stay at home and not mingle at all with anyone. And if and when you do need to go to the supermarket or whatever it is, if it's the chemist or whatever, really keep your distance away from people, and just be mindful. From what I understand, I could be carrying COVID-19 right now, but not know about it. Some people get very sick and die. Other people hardly know that they've got it, and that's what makes it so dangerous. So going around being close to people, thinking that you're fine and you're not going to spread it is a very selfish way of going about things. So just try and or do keep your distance from people when you need to be out and about, and just be mindful, because it spreads. It's spreading insanely all over the world, and the main thing that we all really worry about, or at least I do anyway, is people like my parents who are in their 70s, or at least mum is, dad's approaching it, and although they're fit and strong, it's the older people that seem to be really suffering with COVID-19. So we've just got to think about the older generation, and also people that aren't so well, and have conditions that make them vulnerable to COVID-19. I was very fortunate to get my hands on the new 2020 Audi RS4 literally about 4 or 5 days before the lockdown, and I shot my first drive video on that. I also shot a Q&A in the car answering some questions that I asked about on Instagram around about a week ago or so. And I also shot a pure driving video literally the evening before Boris announced the total lockdown. So I have got 3 videos on that car coming up. I plan to release the first drive video this weekend and spread them out a little bit, because I kind of don't have too much content up my sleeve. The Nardo Grey M340 video has done extremely well, so thank you very much for that. It's well over 100,000 views now, and yeah, it's great when videos like that do so well, because to be fair, that took Tony and I about half an hour to film and maybe about 3 or 4 hours to edit. You know, it didn't actually essentially cost me any money, and I'm very grateful to Amit, the owner, for letting us do that. And yeah, it's great. It's a really nice response. Obviously, the M3 Touring video of Nick Pritchard's car has just gone through the roof. You know, it clocked over 500,000 views last night, which is just incredible. It's the most viewed video on my channel, and there's a load of amazing positive feedback on that. And in fact, while we're talking about Nick Pritchard's car and video, I am going to do more of these video vlogs talking about various things. And I think one of the subjects I'll pick down the track is what goes into shooting a YouTube video, because there's a lot of keyboard warriors, I'm going to call them, that have come on and typed their sort of anger about the fact that Nick's car wasn't clean during that shoot day. Now, that was shot at the beginning of February, I think, or end of January. So middle of the UK winter, so terrible weather, hardly any daylight, and Nick had to travel about 2 hours. We had to travel about an hour and a half. The logistics of having that car clean for that shoot was pretty much impossible. If we had weather like this, yes, he could have cleaned it the morning of or the night before, and it would have been clean, but it was a week of terrible weather, and it was the date that we'd chosen. So so for all these people to go on saying he could have cleaned it, or just giving loads of abuse, honestly, if you realise the amount of time and effort that goes into some of these videos, cleaning a car like that just isn't possible. And also the fact, you know, that Nick's not going to take his car down to a local hand car wash, and pay him £7 to scratch his paintwork. It's just not going to happen. So I need to shoot a video talking more about what a YouTube video like that entails in terms of the lead-up process, the filming on the day, and then the editing, because it's a big job. A couple of nights ago, I made a playlist on my YouTube channel, Petrolhead Tours playlist, and I believe there's 20 videos on there. And I don't usually watch many of my videos back. But those ones I do, because they bring back so many memories and great times, and the freedom and the roads, etc. Things that we can only dream of at the moment. So I urge you to head over and check that playlist out. Start from right at the beginning, which was a trip that I did with him 3 years ago. I think it was the Alps and Pyrenees. No, it was the Alps trip, the Alpine trip. And then, yeah, Scotland, and then you'll see the trips that Patrick and I went on together. And obviously those ones are filmed and edited by Patrick, and they kind of bring everything. They bring the views and everything else of a Petrolhead Tour trip, but there's also some entertainment in it as well, both of us being a couple of idiots through most of it. So it's really good, feel-good sort of stuff to watch. So if you're fed up with Netflix and Amazon and, you know, terrestrial TV, it will make you smile, and it will make us look forward to, you know, what we're eventually going to get back, some normality, and hopefully it will urge some of us to go on a late summer road trip around Europe, or do whatever it is we need to do, because I'm itching to get out and drive and go on a brilliant trip. So yeah, check that out. My next part of this video really is going to be talking about YouTubers that I would recommend you guys to watch. Not necessarily the obvious ones, like the, you know, Car Wows, the Shmees, Ricky Living Life Fast, you know, good friend Steph, Petroped, all those guys, which I know that most of you watch anyway. Not the obvious ones, the less obvious ones. So I've got a little list here on my phone, And excuse me if I've missed your channel, but these are just some of the ones. Okay, so let's start with the car related ones first. Nick Murray. I'm sure a lot of you already subscribed to Nick. I've followed and watched Nick for years, and I absolutely love his stuff. I think he's just a quirky, interesting character, and I love the way he shoots his videos. I love his dogs and his teddy gorilla things that sit in the back of his car. I love how real he is. You know, he does YouTube as a hobby, but he takes it seriously as well. As in, you know, the production quality is really high. He's a bit of a Porsche fanatic, as most petrol heads are, but really good. Nick Murray, check him out. Go back in the back catalogue and then work your way forward with that. Next one is, well, let's go to the Nürburgring. And my good buddy, Misha. I absolutely love Misha, aka Boosted Boris back in the day. But his stuff's just brilliant. And again, work your way back. Start sort of 6 months ago and watch some of his vlogs because they're just brilliant. It's all mostly car related and around the Nürburgring. But Misha now works for Rimac as well. So you get a lot of really interesting stuff. He's a very interesting character. And I like Misha a lot. I've always been a fan of his. So check him out. And while we're talking about Misha and the fact that he's out the Nürburgring with Apex and stuff, check out Robert Mitchell's channel. And Robert is the owner of Apex at the Nürburgring. Robert's a lovely guy. I've met him several times. He's just the most chilled and down-to-earth guy you could ever meet. And considering how successful he is and obviously how wealthy he is, he's not a flash guy with his money at all. He's just a normal, lovely car guy, petrol head, that has invested a lot of time and money into building Apex, which is growing and growing every year. There's so many side projects of Apex now. It's not just a hotel. You've got driver training. You've got tours on normal public roads. You've got obviously rental cars for the ring itself. You've got ring taxis. You've now got racing car tuition there. There's endless amounts of stuff that go on at Apex, and it's ever expanding. So go over and check out Robert's channel because he's a realist, and he's kind of living the dream, but he's living it from being successful and just doing what all of us would do. Well, at least I would if I was as successful as him in my life. The next person we're going to talk about is my buddy Robert as well, another Robert from Heel and Toe. Robert and I have known each other for a long time now. We've done lots of stuff together, and he's just a great guy. His content's amazing. He's an incredible driver. He's very amazing at editing as well. And his videos are just more pure. There's no bullshit there. There's just, car, driver, him talking about a few things. But it's really clean, nice stuff. Really good content. He's just shot something on the Alpine A110. So head over and check out Robert. As I say, extremely good driver as well. Like next level. And the other sort of left field person I'm going to go and tell you, or people that I'm going to tell you to go and check out, are my good friends 0 to 60 in Australia. They shoot very alternative car stuff. They do a lot of stuff based around realistic 0 to 60 times on cars, but random cars, not some you wouldn't have seen because a lot of them are Australian. They do a lot of BMW stuff, but they just shoot really nice content. They're fun to watch, couple of brothers. Okay, right, let's move on to my favourite motorbike channels. Some of you might know that I am a big fan of motorbikes. I class MotoGP as the best form of motorsports out there, and I also love British and World Superbikes. So naturally, I watch a few motorbike related YouTube channels. First one I'm going to talk about is 44 Teeth. Now, this is part run by a good friend of mine, Chris, or Baron von Grumble, which is actually his other YouTube channel. But check out 44 Teeth. They do a lot of sort of serious bike reviews. So if you want to look at a Panigale V4, you know, they've got a fairly serious review of that bike, but they also do a lot of comedy stuff as well, including some of their budget bike battles, where they take a couple of budget bikes that they buy here in the UK down to the south of Spain, for instance, and all of the dramas and shenanigans that goes with it. It's just brilliant. It really is good. I've actually watched a couple of their series as back to back, or I've watched it for the second time because of the comedy value. So check that channel out, 44 Teeth. Really, really good. The next biking channel I would suggest watching is Scott Redding's YouTube channel. So Scott Redding, for those of you that don't know, is he's an ex MotoGP rider, one of the best sort of Moto2 riders back in the day. Never really got the success he deserved in MotoGP, never really got on the right bike, never got on a factory bike, and then left MotoGP a couple of years ago, and just when people thought his career was not down the drain but not going anywhere, he went into British Superbike. He won that in his first year, which was last year with Ducati, and now he's been promoted to World Superbikes. So it's really good to see him back on the up again, because he is very talented, and he's one of the very few guys that have really taken it to someone like Marc Marquez over the years. So it's great to see Scott doing so well. He's a quirky and interesting character, a bit outspoken, doesn't really care, about too many airs and graces, which is nice and refreshing to see. And his YouTube channel is great, shows a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so check out that. And the other motorbike channel I'll suggest watching, and I've only just discovered it myself a few days ago, a guy called Sylvain Gintoli, who's a French guy, lives in the UK, lived here for a long time, got a family and stuff, and he's an ex-world superbike champion. I think it was 2014 when he won with Aprilia, and past few years he's done a lot with Suzuki, so he's Suzuki's current MotoGP test rider, and he got a few wild cards last year. I watched him at Silverstone, for instance, and yeah, again, he just literally has started his own YouTube channel, and he takes his, I think it's his GSXR 1000 road bike, completely stock, wing mirrors, everything, takes it down to his local tracks for track days and stuff, and just gives you a nice insight behind the scenes. It's just very normal, no BS, just very casually shot videos. And if you're into your motorbikes, then it's definitely a sort of completely alternative side to what we see on Eurosport, BT Sports and stuff. Next, we'll move on to mountain biking channels. I'm, I wouldn't say a serious mountain biker. I used to be more of a serious mountain biker, but I love my mountain biking. And I've got quite a serious mountain bike made by Saracen, which I absolutely love, and hope to get out and ride a lot more when we can later this year. Another thing to look forward to. But my good mate Brendan Fairclough, who's been in a few of my car videos, he's one of the best mountain bikers on the planet, and he basically set up a YouTube channel a couple of months ago, and yeah, it's going really well, as you'd expect. He started a series called It's a Dog's Life, and again, it's a lot of behind the scenes of sort of bigger films that he's shot, and knowing Brendan very well myself, you get to know him very well through his YouTube channel. It's all very real, and there's a lot of outtakes and all sorts in there. It's great, really, really good content. Don't necessarily have to be a keen mountain biker to enjoy it. He gets to travel to some amazing places around the world, and once again, as we're all stuck in our houses at the moment, it's a nice way to see different parts of the world, and should brighten up your day a bit. Something else that you guys probably aren't too aware of is I'm a bit of an aviation geek, and I think if I had the education and the backing from wealthier parents or something when I was younger, I would have definitely have wanted to be a commercial pilot. Maybe less of a dream now, because commercial pilots, they're everywhere and they struggle. It's not what it once was. But the main reason I wanted to be one is I'm quite obsessed with commercial planes in general. I love them. Bit of a plane spotter, if you like. secretly, although I'm telling you now. So yeah, some good aviation channels that I watch. One of them, a guy called Sam Chewy. Excuse me if that's not how you pronounce your surname, Sam, but yeah, I love his stuff. He is a very successful businessman that now does a lot of aviation YouTube stuff in his spare time or on the side, but it's brilliant. You know, you get to experience a £50,000 Emirates first class seat or suite, you down to like a BA economy seat. If you're looking at flying with an airline, when we can again, just check out his channel, because he reviews pretty much everything: airports, planes, anything that's aviation related, and I find that sort of stuff really fascinating. He's quite a quirky character again, as a lot of these big YouTubers are, but really good stuff. So check that out. The next one is a guy called Captain Joe. I don't like him just because his name's Joe. He's very interesting, very educational, and teaches you stuff about planes that you might have always wondered or couldn't figure out. Certain noises you hear on the taxi out to the runway, why, you know, what flaps are doing on the wings, just anything you can imagine. He will probably have done a video explaining why that is and what it does and how it affects it and everything. So his channel is really good if you're really heavily into your aviation. The next one is a guy called Kelsey. His channel is 74 Gear. He's another 747 pilot, and again, he just shoots lots of interesting content around aviation. He also does something called Hollywood versus reality. So he will get a movie like, say, Catch Me If You Can, and he will talk about how realistic some of it is and some of it isn't. It's really interesting hearing from an experienced pilot about, you know, certain movies and how much of it is realistic and how much of it is not. But obviously you're not going to expect it all to be in a Hollywood movie. Lastly, randoms. Random, I guess, not unrelated channels, but stuff that I've never sort of done myself or I can't relate to, but I can respect and I enjoy watching. So Storer, a bunch of guys that I guess you'd call them parkour experts or free runners, and they shoot the most incredible videos. They're UK based guys, but they go all over the world shooting ridiculous videos, really high quality stuff. A lot of it's on GoPros as well, actually, rooftop stuff and just amazing parkour experiences, but it's all edited and put together so well. And they've just started doing a lot of stuff with movies, so they do a lot of stunt work now, which is great to see, because about a year ago YouTube demonetized everything they do. So it basically meant that all of their revenue, that were, you know, they were about 4.5 million subscribers, I think, at that point. So they must have gone from earning, well, a lot of money to nothing overnight. So yeah, support them by buying a t-shirt from them, or at least watching their channel and helping them grow, because they're really good bunch of kids. I call them kids because they're obviously a lot younger than I am. The other person I would suggest watching is a guy called Eddie Hall. Eddie is an ex World's Strongest Man. So I think it was 2016 he won the title, and I think he's still got the world record for the deadlift, which is 500 kilos. But his channel's brilliant, really good. I think it's only been going about a year, but his content's brilliant. He's funny, but he's amazing as well. Like, as a human being, as you can imagine, being, you know, the world's strongest man. But what he sets himself a lot of challenges, and he competes against a lot of other random people. So it's really interesting. It's really good content. It'll make you giggle and it will really surprise you. So check that out. Most important thing really is just to keep yourself busy and entertained, occupied. Make sure you pick up the phone, ring your friends and your loved ones. Stay in contact with people. You're not going to catch corona down the end of the phone. Yeah, jump on social media. Do whatever you can to stay active as well in the house. Keep yourself exercised, etc. But the better behaved we are over the next couple of months, the quicker and sooner this is all going to be over, and we can leave it behind us like a really bad dream. But yeah, until the next one, guys, I will try and do these as regular as possible. But the next video you'll see on the channel will be my first drive video, the RS4, which I shot a couple of weeks ago, and then yeah, we'll see what we can do for the next few weeks. But thanks a lot for watching as always, and please make sure you stay safe and yeah, stay away from others. Take it easy. Cheers.